Joined by Bradley Bowman, the Senior Director of the Center on Military and Political Power at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thank you very much for coming on the show here on the weekend. And I want to ask you, is this a foregone conclusion that the Taliban will eventually take Kabul as well, or is there still a chance that the Afghan forces can fight back?
Thanks for the opportunity to join you, and thanks for the question. You know, it's truly a tragic catastrophe unfolding in Afghanistan that the world is witnessing, one that President Biden's withdrawal decision has catalyzed. You know, we've seen in just 8 days, as my colleague Bill Roggio has noted at the FDD's Long War Journal, we've seen the Taliban take control of 16 of Afghanistan's 34 provinces and 18 of its 34 provincial capitals. We've seen the collapse of Ghazni and Logar, which means the road, more or less, is kind of open to Kabul. So I think Kabul is in danger. I think the actions that you're seeing the Department of Defense take in terms of sending additional forces there, up to 8,000 total forces to help evacuate people and secure the embassy and the airport, demonstrates the Department of Defense's concern. I think unless something changes, unless we see a significant change in momentum, it's reasonable to expect that Kabul will fall, and it could happen quickly. But there are a lot of variables, and we'll have to continue to watch closely.
Right, and you talked there about the U.S. withdrawal, which was, of course, the catalyst for this massive Taliban offensive. And, of course, Americans were tired of 20 years of American forces being bogged down there. Was there an alternative, or was the alternative just to stay put?
There was an alternative, and I think it's really important for Americans and our allies and friends around the world to understand there was an alternative. It's an alternative that people like me have been calling for a long time, and that, you know, it's important to put some facts on the table. When President Biden made his decision, his foolish decision on April 14th to catalyze a calendar-based, conditions-ignoring withdrawal, replicating the mistake, frankly, that the Bowman administration made in Iraq in 2011, which, of course, we had to go back to Iraq in 2014, replicating that very same mistake. We only had 3,500, give or take, U.S. troops in Afghanistan, 3,500. To put that in perspective, we had 26,000 American service members on Capitol Hill after January 6th. We have 486,000 active duty U.S. Army soldiers. 3,500 soldiers was a reasonable investment to prevent another 9/11 attack, to secure the gains we've seen with Afghan women and girls, and prevent a major refugee crisis that will impact Europe and also potentially destabilize nuclear-armed Pakistan.
Right. So based on sort of that strategy, then the forces should have been staying there. The couple thousand forces, that was essentially enough to kind of prevent this massive advance of the Taliban. Just the sort of intimidation factor of the U.S. forces there, the air power that was there. You're saying that this wouldn't basically have been possible for the Taliban.
I'm saying that with 3,500 American troops, and let's remember that there are roughly double that number of NATO forces there. That's an important thing for Americans, others to recognize. So we had 3,500, and then roughly double that of other NATO forces there. For 20 years, what did we accomplish, right? For 20 years, what did the U.S.-led coalition in Afghanistan accomplish? We prevented another 9/11 attack on our country and our allies, and we helped enable tremendous gains for democracy in Afghanistan, for women and girls, and we prevented from what we're seeing now unfold, which will go down as one of the great failures, I think, of American national security policy, and President Biden owns it.
All right, Bradley Bowman, thank you very much for that analysis. Of course, we're going to continue to follow what's happening in Afghanistan. There still is a lot that could change potentially, but it certainly doesn't look like a very positive situation, or a situation that has much hope, really, of being reversed of what we've seen so far. But again, we'll have to wait and see. So thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you.